It's my first film. It's my first foray into this new, I guess, space in my career. I didn't want to hammer people over the head with messages. I just wanted them to have a fun ride, honestly. That was, from the beginning, that was always my intention. I wanted to have a good time making it, and I wanted people to have a good time watching it. I come from a long line of farmers.
Hey, Big City Princess, just checking in on you. You gotta come home. What's up, cuz?
As Native actors, oftentimes we're prescribed to specific roles with a very limited range. And I'm super proud of Dio in this effort because she was able to write for herself a role that she wanted to play. And that puts on full display the wide range that she's capable of.
I'm like a brand ambassador for Seeds.
They basically own half the world. I'm sorry to say this, cuz, but they are the enemy.
As a narrative that's very relevant to Native communities, that is very accessible because not only does it talk about issues that are really relevant to our lives, but also shows oftentimes the things that we wish we could do. It's refreshing. It was refreshing to read this script because the story being told, it goes there, and all its glory. It really shows the power of Indigenous matriarchy. And Kaniehtiio represents that so well.
War has been declared. And do you know what my people did to our enemies during wartime? Allow me to demonstrate.
I definitely took inspiration from the Book of Jesuits. The Jesuit account of when my people were torturing Brebeuf. And that's for real. I always thought it was a really good telling of how my people dealt with our enemies. And I always, like, me and my cousins read it for fun.
It's just a really good story.
It is a good story. It's
warms
funny.
the heart. Just warms the heart.
So I was like, man, we were brutal, and I loved that. So that was a huge inspiration. Some of the things I had to convince people of was the tone. People are like, well, is it a horror? And I'm like, well, there are horrific things that are happening. They want to destroy our way of life. That's horrific to me. That's horror. It's thriller because it's fast-paced, and it's comedy. I think a lot of Indigenous people got the tone and get it from the beginning, from the get-go, and I feel like some people, they're just looking at it through a specifically horror lens, or a specifically thriller lens. For me, when I'm told a story, even by somebody in my community, these kind of crazy twists and turns happen, and you're basically laughing the whole way through, and then you're like, oh my God, yes, get him, and then so I don't know if that's Indigenous storytelling or if it's just the way I'm telling the story.
That's my girl.
The story and the tone, I think it really just, it puts on display like the eclectic nature of living in Native communities where you have to deal with such high dramatics, from comedy to drama to horror all in one day.
To trauma, yeah.
And so I think it carries that tone that we are very much multifaceted people living in a multifaceted world with a whole series of different baggages. And I think that the film does a good job of kind of conveying that.